Yes, hello. I am James Rowlands, and today it's the WNR501. It's NXT Update. I'm not alone. I have a pleasure to be joined by our resident NXT expert and New Japan JT. It is Monty. How's it going, man? You didn't hear me fuck up JT, did you?
JT. Yeah, I definitely heard it. But I'm gonna let it slide. But yeah, man, I'm happy to be back. Always excited, in a pretty good mood. We have a big show to end off the year. You know, the last WWE related thing going on in this calendar year, at least for as far as premium live events go. So yeah, I'm excited, man. We have a lot of exciting possible outcomes for tonight because this is genuinely, and I'm really angry about this because this is important for me, as you'll mention later, for the prediction league as far as bonus goes. And I'm really, really aggravated at how tough it is in some of these cases to predict what we have to talk about for deadline. But we have to get there first, and I'm excited to talk about it. I'm happy to be back again, as always.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. Like we said, we're starting the next 500, and I'm glad that you're here,
Right.
which is going to be, like you said, a bumper weekend because we are all NXT this weekend. Of course, deadline predictions and doing a deadline review tomorrow. 5 episodes to catch up on. But we have got a little bit of news first and foremost because, of course, the TV deals are coming round for each and every show as it was, and we heard about SmackDown. But NXT has agreed to air on the CW network from October 2024 in a 5-year deal, which was a bit strange considering I think NWA had an agreement to be on the CW network. It's believed to be a significant increase on the $15 million per year with USA, and it's more than double what USA already paid for the broadcast rights. And when you consider NXT was a network-only show, even in this podcast, to see it now getting paid to do stuff. So what do you think about its move then from USA to the CW and branching out?
Yeah, I never really thought, it's crazy when you think about that. I didn't really think about it until you just mentioned that this was, a WWE Network thing. For I think before the network, it was just like on YouTube randomly or something, like, you know what I mean? Like it's really grassroots when you think about it, and to be able to sell for, like you said, for more than 15 million, and to just be like you said, valued. You kind of can see the value of that work that I think they did with not only Becky Lynch and with Seth and some of the main roster appearances, but just in the quality of maintaining an audience. If you look at the ratings, not only did the audience continue to kind of steadily grow a little bit, if you're going off the last few years, it is also have now become pretty consistent. And I think it's just really cool to watch. And again, someone like me who's been here since those network days, been able to watch NXT, it's a reason why I always talk about Bo Dallas. Shout out to my guy Bo. I was watching the network when Bo Dallas had his NXT championship run, and nobody probably remembers except me. But I was a big fan in those days, and I still am a big fan. So it's really kind of cool, like you said, to kind of watch it turn into that. And yeah, it's really, really weird when you think about with NWA and the thing that they tried to pull on pay-per-view is just so badly timed when you got pending contracts and you're trying to do. I don't know where that decision came, but it's just so weird.
I'll tell you what else is weird as well, like the news the last 24 hours. I got an email about Impact Plus changing to, the TNA.
Endeavor, right?
Endeavor. So the company that owns WWE is now going to run TNA's stream.
Plus,
it's a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy.
Like, wow, they're finally under the same banner. Would you ever would have thought of that after the many years of Impact kind of being the only alternative? No, I think it's awesome though. I think that'll do wonders for that platform because you mentioned that not only have you told me about it and said that it was a good investment or just good investment of your time to go check out stuff on TNA Plus, but I've seen other people who love going to go binge watch old Impact pay-per-views and stuff like that, or just even some of the new stuff that they're doing also. So yeah, Impact has also been on a massive run, so it's kind of cool to see them get get that type of deal, or get that, especially with the whole rebrand they have going on. Like wrestling in general is just in a really good place in a lot of ways, and I think these are two examples of it when you think about NXT's success and like what you just mentioned with Impact. But again, it's just one of those things that the quality of it. I think that's what I kind of like the most about it, as someone who's getting a chance to watch a little bit of all of this wrestling and a lot of NXT, is that the quality, the hard work that you see from the new talent and some of these fresh faces and all of that is being rewarded. And I think that's really, really cool. And it's cool for us too. You know what I mean? We put a lot of time into this. So it's nice to see that, that it has that type of value, if you see what I'm trying to say.
It's nice not watching shit just because you're
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Right.
I find that with House of Torture, if I happen to watch it, I'm only doing this because I have to. Like we said with NXT in the past, but kind of it's all paying off at this moment. And that was an Impact with the TNA rebrand and everything going on there. With New Japan, with Wrestle Kingdom coming up, with the Rumble coming up as well. It's weird that the only company really not kind of hot, even though they're doing kind of monthly events, is AEW. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about NXT and, of course, their premium live event, the last WWE one. Again, it shows faith in NXT to be like, right, you're the December show. You're going to get more people watching this than maybe not normally because there's nothing else on. It's kind of like there's no TLC.
No, right. It's nothing else. This is the only, like you said, Peacock or network related content that they're going to fresh, live content that they're going to try to put out. So, yeah, man, I think it's kind of cool to give NXT that spotlight. And also, if you haven't noticed, on Raw and SmackDown, there's been a lot of that going on in general, of just promotion and acknowledgement of NXT. So, I think that's pretty awesome too. When you get, just the fact that it's starting to finally feel like Triple H said this many, many moons ago that NXT was the third brand. And it's starting to finally sort of feel like not only development, but also just another brand, especially when we talk about a lot of the talent that we have at NXT now.
Well, finally, two things about the CW. First off, they probably said, do you always get like 1 million viewers?
Right.
Like, yeah,
sure. Every time, every week.
Always beat Dynamite. And also, I've got no problem with a Flash or Arrow or even Supergirl showing up on NXT. Like, 1 week, open challenge, something like that. I'm in, especially with Cody being in WWE now. That relationship should open up. I'm not Stephen Amell's agent, I promise. Anyway, enough rambling. On to NXT. We start November 7th, and we get a recap of Halloween Havoc. And our opening match is for the Heritage Cup, Noam Dar versus Akira Tozawa. The opening 3-minute round ended with anti-falls, despite a last-second superplex. Dar ended that trend with a quick, cheap pinfall with a handful of tights to take a 1-0 lead. He had a few cheap shots. I'm only saying this for impartiality. I don't think they were cheap, but because it was not enough to force disqualification. But anyway, Tozawa tied it up with an ankle lock at the close of the 4th round, creating a sense of urgency for the remainder of the bout. With the clock ticking in round 5, Flash Legend pulled Dar out of the way, and Tozawa crashed the mat below during the senton attempt. One Supernova roller later, and the Scottish Supernova retained. Otis laid out Mensah afterwards. What I find credible in this is how many Noam Dar Heritage Cup matches we've seen now. But Dar had never beaten Tozawa before this one. If we look back, when you think about the two OGs from 205 Live,
right?
With these two guys.
It's amazing, right? It's amazing how, again, the time, and I think that kind of goes understated. I think people don't necessarily realize, or remember those days. That's another thing that just feels like another timeline. By the way,
I've been on a trip back.
205
with the 500th, where I've been on like CWC, Mae Young Classic. All the good stuff.
Right. But yeah, no. This is really cool to see these guys kind of get back in there and do their thing. I'm one of those guys who have massive respect for Akira Tozawa. I've seen him be able to do a lot of amazing things in the ring, pre-WWE, even in WWE. Even if they have kind of made him seem just like only a comedy character. I'm one of those guys who know he can go. And like you mentioned, we know the same thing can be said for Noam Dar in a sense. Maybe some people could look at Noam Dar and just laugh at him or think he's not much, but when he's in that ring, he can go. And it's my favorite thing about these Heritage Cup matches when it comes to Noam Dar, just everything is just so logical. It just makes so much sense. The use of his team in this situation too just makes them seem even more tight knit. Just if you think about how they always seem to be on the same page in these Heritage Cup matches. So, yeah, man, I really think, again, like we mention this all the time, I don't want to overstate it because, like you said, we've seen a lot of these cup matches. But he's the formula that Noam Dar has. Is just impeccable. And as a matter of fact, we're gonna talk about another impressive one.
Yeah.
After this. So, this was really good, though. It's cool to see Tozawa in this spot, too.
Yeah, and this is the thing. And they're not having to go to Tozawa, but you could have anybody versus Dar, and Dar could have a good Heritage Cup with you. You can stick, Jade Cargill in there, and it make it work.
Now, that'll be something.
Speaking of powerful women, in her first address as the NXT Women's Champion, Lyra Valkyria did not have a chance to say much, thanks to an interruption from Xia Li. A tense in-ring confrontation gave way to a challenge from the babyface to the former member of TN Shah. Remember that? Lee knocked the life out of her with one of the security guards, completely laying him out. We get an Iron Survivor qualifying match. Fallon Henley versus Tiffany Stratton. Blame Mick Foley. A good competitive contest between familiar foes saw Stratton get back to winning ways and cash a ticket to one of the marquee matches in NXT. Backstage, referee emerged from Shawn Michaels' office and revealed he'd been told to exercise his discretion in relation to the rules in Von Wagner Bron Breakker. In the background, Ava Rain was seen entering HBK's office. Elsewhere, backstage conversation led to making a bout between Otis and Drew Gulak for later in the show. Also, Wesley and Baron Corbin had a disagreement. Von Wagner versus Bron Breakker then. This is about the big babyface making his return from injury. Breakker won, scoring the pinfall victory following a spear. But don't worry, Wagner got a measure of revenge via table slot. But talk about anticlimactic. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and then at the time, I honestly didn't think this stuff was over. But we can go ahead. We don't have to talk about it. We go ahead and say this is pretty much it. That's it for the feud. He loses another match to him, and he puts him to a table. Okay, cool. We're even, I guess. I told you anyway. Babyfaces, especially this particular babyface, but babyfaces are not the smartest. I knew him asking for that match was not going to work out for him, and so it makes sense that he lose. But you're 100% right. It's just what an anticlimactic way to tell the story, and I don't necessarily know how much Von Wagner actually gained. I don't know. I mean, he was already getting more popular or becoming a face. So, what did he really gain from getting his face smashed in? Like, do we need to have more sympathy for the big guy?
No, we just had friendship. That's what matters.
He gained friendship. There you go.
He gained a friend for life. Kalana Jordan and Roxanne Perez beat breakout winner Lola Vice and Electra Lopez. Ariana Grace appeared immediately after the win to take the spotlight from the victors, but Carmen Petrovich flattened her on the ramp. I don't know if we've mentioned that Grace's dad is Santino. Again, it's a bit weird, but we don't really mention shit like that because I don't really think it's that relevant. Apart from when the Rock Daughter starts,
Right, yeah, you have to mention that. Have to mention that, right? But yeah, I do notice this is one thing about it. She has the same timing in a way with some of the facial expressions. Like she cracks me up sometimes, and that's just because her character is so delusional or just don't belong. Because she says stuff like, "Why everybody want to fight?" As if she don't know where she worked. It's very, very funny. But no, yeah, it's one of those things. But this is one of those examples of just how I really like so far what Shawn is kind of doing with the women's division. Even if they don't seem they're involved with a match, they're getting more time for people to be familiarized with them, and that's good as anything at this point, because it was some times when we were looking at NXT, and if it wasn't the few women that we knew at the top of the card that was wrestling, like Cora Jade and Roxy for a while there, and when Mandy was on top, that's exactly a great example. When Mandy was champion, do you remember the women's division at all? And it actually starting to feel like a division now.
But T's saying Toxic Attraction's theme and Bron Breaker's theme very similar.
Similar, yeah. I know, yeah. Heavy guitars.
Yeah. Anyway, Otis beat Drew Gulak. Backstage, Tiffany Stratton and Kiana James had a brief interaction that maybe tease a future partnership, with a former saying, "I don't mind her." JC James, speaking of Toxic Attraction, took a letter for Andre Chase from Tony D. The plot thickens. Iron Survivor Challenge qualifier, Tyler Bate versus Dijak, calls an intensely physical bout, so each man tests the other's toughness. But it was Dijak who delivered a feast for Ice to secured your victory. I mean, come on. The man that always loses. Especially after Tyler was like, "I'm tired of living off my past resume." And I was like, what a great line. And then Dijak wins.
All right, what a great line. It's just, it's one of those things that also, when I looked at the match, as much as I love Tyler, it's just like, is this what's gonna happen to him outside of NXT UK? You know what I mean? Like, is he gonna be the guy that you want to root for, because he's a big strong boy and he can fight the big guys, but he's gonna always come short. Is that gonna be his role? You know what I mean? Even though I think he has the potential for so much more, but yeah, honestly, Dijak needed it. Like, I think that's kind of like what we're saying right now. He needed to win, because it just, at this point, me and you kind of just expect him to fall short. So I guess I can't complain in a sense from that point of view, but it definitely was like one of those things where it's like you came into it expecting Tyler Bate to do what he was supposed to do, and it didn't happen. So it was really, really surprising, but it will, we'll see how this turns out for him.
Yeah, no, I'm not. Again, I wasn't this upset by the end of the update. Spoiler,
right.
But the dissension between Trick Williams and Kamala Hayes, though, had intensified. And in the main event, we see the former took exception to the former NXT champion, not returning the favour, having his back when he had done the same for so long. Williams also admitted to not having seen who attacked him. That was lucky.
Ooh.
And Hayes' reaction was one because, yes, it may have been him, until Lexis King interrupted. He stirred things up, ultimately leading to Williams evidently hitting Hayes. An embrace between the babyfaces ended the show, but it was clear that was distrust and frustration between them, all while King watched with a shit-eating grin on his face. Now, I've got to say, fair play for King being involved in this story. But Hayes, and especially Hayes here, the small things he's doing are fantastic.
Oh, man. He's killing it. I agree. It's the subtlety, and even his reaction initially, asking Trick like 3 or 4 times, and the way he asked him, so you really didn't see who attacked you. It was just like, it was so well done. It was nice. It made you wonder. It made you, oh my God. So Melo really is trying to, he's trying to weasel out of this, because he didn't even know Trick didn't know. So, like you said, I think me and you had this conversation on the last one about where they would go from that moment where Trick cost Melo from the title. And I really want to say that, I was worried, but I do like at first I was thinking, no, let's just go ahead and go straight into it. But I love the slow burn of this. But I will say that your prediction about them sticking together and winning tag gold or whatever, I don't know about that one, man. I don't know. Because it feels like this bridge is. I don't think they can. Even if Lexus did it, I don't know if they're gonna make it out of this together. That's the way it feels.
I've said other stuff in the past 9 years that has come true. All right, so
okay. There we go.
We'll move on. November 14th, and we start with Chase U versus the Family for the NXT Tag Titles. Because of course, the Family only fight when gold's on the line. The controversy over cheating distracted Andre Chase for this contest, and Duke Hudson could only protect him so long before Chase fell to the bada bing, bada boom. JC James seemed genuinely distraught about Chase, who's lost, and stood with the others in the ring afterwards for support. Backstage, the family laid out a warning to the tag division with a new woman speaking for them. That's great. Reporters hounded Chase until Jane picked him up in the car. So, new tag team champions. So, the Andre, that Chase U train got stopped pretty quickly.
Right. Right. Yeah, it definitely did. But it was a bigger story there with the student section leaving and just in the middle of the match. Very dramatic, so yeah, I don't have that much of a problem with it. I do say the vignette tag champions, as I call them, because that's pretty much what they do. I guarantee we're gonna get a vignette, throughout. That's just what they do in their reign. But in the occasional title matches, vignette title matches, that's what they do. But I kind of expected this with the rematch because you can tell they haven't really been subtle as in who Chase U or who Andre Chase is in debt with or the situation that's going on. They haven't been subtle that it has involvement with the family. So I kind of expected the family to eventually be able to get the belts back. But it is one of those things to where we have a bigger story here, and it's yeah, man, it's crazy when you think about it because they were so hot, and it makes me wonder. I really hope that whatever they try to do with this story, that they it really makes me wonder: are we doing this to get rid of Chase U, or are we just telling this story to get them back together, or, more closer together? But the problem I have with that is they were so hot. That's why you gave them the belts, at least from my estimation. So it's like, is this a wrong move? Do you think this is a wrong move going to this store, or are you intrigued with where they're going?
Again, it's interesting because you think if you're pulling the trigger and then you're doing this, then it's like, well, yeah, what's the end game? Who
right.
Is it? JC Jane behind it? Is it something else going on?
Yeah, like what is it exactly?
Let them have a run and then have Duke Hudson turn heel. That's what we thought was going to happen.
Exactly.
Not another new member.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree.
Another one. But we'll see what happens with that. Alpha Academy trick Noam Dar and Supernova Sessions into agreeing a Heritage Cup match next week against Chad Gable. I love the fact Supernova Sessions is a thing now on NXT.
Me too. Yeah.
So one day that would be a Raw and SmackDown, and people would just be like, yeah. Lash Legend was in action next in a 9 Survivor Challenge. Surprisingly, she beat Roxanne Perez, who's kind of treading water in NXT right now.
Right.
But Lash will have a biggest match at Deadline. This was a little bit because Rox, I thought, had a plan. And then I don't know if Lyra Valkyria's kind of derailed that a little bit.
That's what it seemed like.
And now Legend, who people go back and listen to how much I hated her, is actually in small bursts
on the rise, man.
What to do,
Yeah, and her athleticism, she showed a little bit of that in this match, and you can just see it's some potential there. She's working, and that's another compliment I want to give. We'll talk about Kalani later and a couple of other names, but the improvement. We talked about Tiffany on a couple of podcasts ago on NXT, and just how the improvement is just insane. And I just think I have to give a lot of the women credit. If we're going back to what was going on months ago, 2.0 and all of that, you knew that they needed time. And you could tell that maybe it's because NXT has been doing the live events and a lot of other stuff around Florida and all of that. That maybe that just getting more in-ring time is what some of these athletes needed. But I agree, the trajectory right now, like you said, Lash with her ability to talk and the association with Metaphor, and then you have Roxy, who pretty much ever since she kind of had to leave for the anxiety or whatever the explanation in her title reign, is just how her title reign ended. Pretty much from that moment on, it's been a kind of roller coaster ride, to be honest. Like she gets certain wins, but like you said, I think, and I hope they don't go too far with it. Like you said, we felt like Roxy would be the number one babyface as in the women's division. But like you said, with Lyra, and then they have a lot of new faces with, like I said, Kalani and a lot of stuff they're trying. I hope they don't bank on the fact that since she's so young, they have plenty of time and they don't mess up her booking. Because again, I'm with you. She has the potential, and like me and you both have mentioned how we feel about her. So it's kind of concerning, but I'm going to give it a little bit of time.
Even when you just saying that, I just thought, well, maybe it's to her detriment that Roxy's a little bit further ahead, because maybe we're waiting for the
Right.
others to develop to get on her level
To her
have
level.
matches like that, you know. So, like I said, sometimes it helps and sometimes it hurts.
Right.
It's like Laura Valkyria as well, you know,
Mhm.
refusing to drink tea with Xia Li. You know, that in my country is an insult, sir.
It's like, yeah,
Yeah,
I
you'll
was
have
insulted
tea.
too.
Lee promised no mercy, but if you talk about the production was impressive, maybe the acting wasn't, and then they've got Xia Li to work the house show circuit to get ready for the big matches that she had against Lynch, and of course against Lia Valkyria coming up. Iron Survivor qualifier. These were Lisa's picks, so if you don't like it, blame her. Trick Williams versus Joe Coffey. Kamala Hayes was no help on the sidelining, challenging Gallus, but Trick still caught Joe with a leaping knee for the win. The Brawling Brutes beat OTM. Nothing I like about OTM. Joe Gacy cut a promo on the Performance Center roof before throwing the camera. Gigi Dolan beat Ariana Grace. Again, Gigi Dolan is another one where I'm just like,
Yeah.
they don't know what to do they? You
And
know?
I think she's also in that area. Yeah, you know what I mean? She's in that area. It's like kind of in limbo.
Yeah. Well, I think we lost you a little bit there, but you are back now, so I'm glad about that. But I should tell everybody that it is new laptops, so we are, you know, might have some problems here, but everything's fine now. We're all good. NXT showed a vignette on Von Wagner and Mr. Jones' journey. The two agree, or Mr. Stone's journey, even the two agreed to dinner at Mr. Stone's place. Warning, the following scene will feature mature themes and scenes of sexual nature. I'm sure was a warning before that. Eddie Thorpe explained that he had healed up from his strap match with Dijak and wanted to join the Iron Survivor Challenge. Charlie Dempsey challenged him. I don't think that's how it works, mate. It's 4 Legends pick, apparently. Corbin and Dirty Dom found common ground backstage. Lee and Dragunov hashed out their past differences. He also had a nice chat with Wes. Alexis King wished Corbin luck before the main event, which was Baron Corbin versus Wesley. Wesley was rolling in return, but Dominic Mysterio saved Baron Corbin when it mattered. Lee got too focused on Dirty Dom and walked into the end of days. Afterwards, Corbin kept beating him down till Ilya arrived, but the champion got caught with end of days. He had told Baron he's got his NXT title match at Deadline. I mean, when was the last time Baron Corbin looked so dominant, you know?
Yeah. I think what I commend the most too is his character work. The promos have been excellent in my opinion from hearing him in NXT, and it really adds an element that I don't think he's really ever had, even on the main, even his first NXT run, and then on the main roster, he wasn't. I guess he got better as time went on, but he wasn't the most compelling talker. But he's been flexing a lot of his chops. I don't know if it's because he's in NXT and a lot of them don't get that spotlight the way he has, but he's been doing a really, really good job. And you're 100% right. When is the last time he actually felt like the dominant force that he, again, is kind of supposed to be if you look at his frame and if you look at what he's capable of. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to always get that performance, but I'm actually I'm more interested than when Ilya Dragunov got attacked. I don't think I was that worried or that really interested. I thought it would just be kind of like it's just going to be a title match. Matter of fact, I didn't even think I thought it would be deadline worthy. I thought it would just be like a Baron Corbin versus Dragunov on a random episode of NXT. But, I really have to commend what Corbin has done to kind of make it feel like, oh, no, he's legit. And, obviously, I think Dragunov with another bigger guy, they have a chance to do something really, really good. And I mean, honestly, I don't know if Dragunov can have a bad match. So this is gonna tell me a lot about Corbin. If he screws up a Dragunov match, I don't know if I don't know what that says about him as a worker. But I think they have a chance to do something nice together. So this was really interesting. But you're 100% right. I love the booking of Corbin because he actually feels like a threat.
But you always hear about like how nice Baron Corbin is in ring. You know, one of the safest workers, and I think it's a bit of a rib. They put him against one of the most dangerous ones. I love Dragunov. Don't get me wrong, but
That's
I
a good
wouldn't want to
point.
wrestle him. You know?
That's a really good point.
We'll see what happens. So November 21st, we start with Heritage Cup action. Our champion Noam Dar faced Chad Gable. Metaphor wore pink, highlighted especially by Lash Legend's hot pink top hat. Mensa caught Gable within his security to set up Dar for the Nova Roller to pick up the first fall. The Alpha Academy leader caught Dar with a rolling German suplex for a surprise 3 count early in round 5. Legend cheap shot Gable after the bell. In round 6, Atomic expired just before Dar tapped out to an ankle lock. So that went, obviously, like we talk about, it was a draw. I'm hoping they would put on a show at Deadline. Obviously, it didn't happen. And as a result, Legend pushed Maxine Dupree. She responded with a slap that sent Lash into Otis's welcome arms. Otis is great. You know?
Just awesome.
I love Otis.
It's understated how good he really is. I mean, he was cool. I liked him when he was jumping off the top rope and splashing people as a heel, and obviously jiggling and doing the worm and just being Otis. That got over the first time, so it's kind of cool that even in this kind of fresh coat of paint, nothing to do with heavy machinery. It's cool that you put him with a guy like Gable, and it still works. Like I think you said that for both guys, because both of those guys have been like tag team magnets, and the fact that Alpha Academy worked as heels and they're working awesomely to me, even better now as a little mini babyface faction. I think it's kind of cool. So yeah, man, I love Otis, and I'm with you, man. What they've been able to do here was cool, and this match itself, man, this was really good stuff. And the thing is about it, I think the reason why we're not getting this on Deadline is because I don't think they have a willingness to make Gable lose, and I don't think Sean I don't think it's time. I think Sean, no, I don't think anyone want Noam to lose his cup again, and we be back on the hunt. You know what I mean? I think.
Yeah.
We think they're going to make you wait. I don't think Gable is necessarily going to be the one to win it, even though I think Gable is awesome, so I wouldn't mind it necessarily, but I think they don't want to book it either way. But I thought this was a masterful way to kind of tell this story with the draw. He's a cowardly type of heel, so he doesn't really lose anything for tapping right after the bell. You know what I mean? So I thought this was really well booked and really well wrestled too by two just guys that, I mean, come on, man, you could throw them in there. I could watch these guys go in for an hour, like book an Iron Man match, Gable and Noam Dar, and tell me it wouldn't be beautiful.
Yeah, I think without doubt. And the thing is with Gable, he's been consistently booked on television now since Triple H first took over.
I've noticed.
And the same with Dar as well. Like you said, what he's doing with Metaphor is working so well. And Gable came so close to beating Gunther. So for Dar to get victory over him, it would be, quite big. Anyway, we get Angel Garza and Alberto Carrillo beating Idris Sanofi and Malik Blade. After the win, Carrillo and Garza called out the family. The family toasted their success at a local restaurant. What a surprise. Later in the night, Garza and Carrillo attacked the Angelo stacks, leaving the restaurant. The family have eaten more than they have wrestled on NXT. Honestly,
yes, it's a fact.
More spaghetti bolognese than matches, all right? It's not anything else. Valkyria and Lee was supposed to happen second on the card, but the challenger laid out the champion during her entrance. Valkyria refused to postpone the match and promised not to lose later. Iron Survivor qualifier, Kamala Hayes versus Josh Briggs. Don't look, Monty. After Lexis King got involved, Melo jumped right into a clothesline and took an impressive big man moonsault for the loss. Wow, thank fuck it's Josh Briggs. Do you know what I mean?
Right? I know no one. I know. Come on now. Did you have that on your bingo card? Oh man. Again, I'm not gonna overreact or be too mad because I don't. I think the end result here is Briggs, obviously, or Briggs and Jensen obviously being split up, and I think it's the amount of shit we've had to go through. I think for your NXT UK tag titles,
I'm still glad they're doing it.
It's about time they're splitting, I guess. But we'll see. It seems to be amicable so far, but we'll see how long that lasts. And I'm not too opposed to it because it is connected to the Trick Williams and the Lexis King story. And again, I really got to commend Sean for putting Pillman or Lexis King in this situation. Because again, this is a big kind of deal storyline in my opinion. Probably the most interesting thing storyline wise that they have going on NXT. So to kind of insert him into this only within his first 5 television matches, he's already inserted to like a huge feud. I really think that's kind of cool, and I can't wait to see what else they decide to do. But this is a big win for Briggs. I couldn't complain. He whenever Melo is not focused, he's lost. I do like that's consistent. Like, I think that's kind of what happened with the Dragunov. Not that Dragunov wasn't better than him, but I'm just saying he had so much going on. He wasn't his confident himself, and then he loses. And then here we go again in another situation where he has a lot going on. I don't know if he's trying to play I don't know if he's protecting himself because he did something or he knows something. So it's just a lot of stuff going on in Melo's life right now. So it can be explained away that Briggs kind of got, of course, with the help of Lexus King. Yeah. So I'm not too upset about it, but you're 100% right. That is Briggs just beat Carmelo bleeping Hayes. Ain't that something?
Upset. You just be making excuses, man. And if it's me about McIntyre, then everybody be on my case. But no, I'll let you off. Like I was like, all joking aside, like I said, we forget how tall Briggs is.
Right.
Yeah.
And he did a couple things in there that was really impressive. So I think he has. I mean, come on, this is WWE, the big guys. Come on now. Oh yeah. They always have a. If you're tall and you're a big, strong guy, you always have a shot to be something big in WWE. And I think he has the athleticism. We'll see what else he has going forward.
And the difference between WWE and AEW is that Lexus King already looks a bigger star in the last.
Oh man, it's not even. It's crazy.
I don't know how.
Like I'm not one of those guys who try to send numerous shots at him, but like when you think about you watch him in AEW, and he seemed like he had mostly nothing, and then you see how he talked and everything now. Like, you're 100% right. Like, I don't know if it's just the storytelling that makes it feel that way. I don't know what it is, but you're 100% right, man. He just feels like a completely. You couldn't tell me that that's the same guy who was with Julia and Griff Garrison. I think that was his name.
Oh, poor Griff.
Right.
Speaking, I tell you what, the NXT Griff Garrison von Wagner had dinner at Mr. Stone's
Please.
house.
What's the purpose of this, James?
Look, this is
why did we have to see this? Like they already told us that he was going to go to dinner the week before. So my only thing, I'm like, why did we have to see this? We know that they're close. Like, what?
For anybody who hasn't seen this video, right? Who hasn't seen this pre-tape, the kids of Robert Stone and of course his wife were there, who cooked this dinner, I assume, and sat down, was talking to him about how to stop with bullies. And Von Wagner said, "This is how you do it." Ended up powerbombing the two children and his wife through the table. One of the most graphic things I've seen. No, I mean, this is just making Von Wagner. I mean, this. If the next video is not Mr. Stone leaving a letter to his wife telling that he's left it with the kids, then I don't know. I just don't know.
That's a great point, because I thought other than just making them even closer, then we already knew. We already knew he was the only friend you got, Vaughn. So what's going on? But hey, it is what it is. I guess that was entertaining for someone.
Well, I'll tell you what would have been entertaining in Wesley. So we're gonna get through it, but yeah, it is a bit of pill to swallow.
Oh my goodness!
Dirty Dominic Mysterio for a match at Deadline. Dirty Dom agreed only if Lee could beat three former NXT North American champions. And I was racking my brain and going, are they going to sign some Dynamite guys? Like, I don't know what I mean. Is
Adam Cole still hurt?
Yeah. Like Leon Ruff, is he still available?
He's back. Good point. Did they release Keith Lee silently?
It's difficult. It is tough. Anyway, Tiffany Stratton and Briggs seem to get along a little too well for Fallon Henry's liking. It's not like you have enough time, Fallon. You've been.
They talked for 15 seconds, Jay. They talked for like 15 seconds, Jay.
But Fallon needs to move on, as in make a move. Like soon it won't be there.
Please.
Iron Survivor qualifier Blair Davenport versus Thea Hale. The Chase U student section did not hype her up as usual. Bastards. Blair Davenport caught her with a short arm knee strike to take the win. Of course, blame JBL for this. Baron Corbin delivered a really good pre-tape promo showing why his life is so much better than Ilya Dragunov. I swear to God,
so well
Monty,
done.
This update has been better for Corbin than the last 5 years of his career.
I agree. I agree. I don't know when the last time he's been on this on top of the world like to this extent. Probably since retiring Kurt. Like he just like this is really no one like that. So you just this is really good for Corbin right now. I 100% agree. This was awesome, man. The contrast showing Dragunov going home alone, and then showing him with his wife and kids every day. I was like, that is some cold stuff. But guess what? You know what else it told me? He is gonna pay. Melo, do you remember what Dragunov did to Melo just to get the belt? It was not personal at all. He's talking about this man family. Like Corbin is going to pay for this.
Well, look what he did to Dijak with nothing on the line. Like,
yes, for no reason.
Like, him brutalizing a man got him on this run. So what do you think is going to happen, Baron?
Oh my goodness. He's going to pay,
man. Eddie Thorpe beat Charlie Dempsey in a match, which I thought should have been more, really. In the vignette, Ariana Grace promised to make NXT better, starting with Carmen Petrovic. The main event, NXT Women's Championship Live, Valkyria versus Ia Lee. Well, Valkyria stomped to the ring and demanded the bell ring fast, but she was clearly still hurt, allowing Lee to quickly take control. Valkyria ducked the knockout kick and hit a roundhouse kick her own to set the stage for her win, and still NXT Women's Champion. And this wasn't bad. This could have been a lot worse. Like we said, Ia Lee already had put a good match on against Becky Lynch, and this is what Valkyria kind of needed first defense, you know.
I agree. It was a solid, like you said, solid first defense. Establish her as a fighting tough champion. You know, even if it does kind of make Xia Li look like, you know, pretty, you know, not bad, but you know, I think Lyra before the match was like, even if I'm at 15%, I won't lose to Xia Li, and I'm like, man, I hope you're not that low.
MJF, you know.
Right, who are you? Right, exactly. But anyway, again, really, really cool stuff here, and I'm with you. It's kind of cool that they're actually finally finding a use for Xia Li, one, and then two, this is a very good way to just, like, again, establish the reign, establish her as a tough, resilient babyface champion. So I had no problem with this. And also, I love the, nice manipulative way to get a main event, girls. You know, maybe there was a plan, because this was going to be the second match, like you mentioned.
Well, we'll move on to November 28th. NXT Tag Team Championship match started as a brawl as a family retained versus Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo. You know, they were like, hey, are we putting our titles on the line? It's like, no. All right, we'll go for food. You know, if not, we'll defend the titles. One or the other. Jerry the King Lawler picks for the Iron Survivor qualifiers. If you don't like it, speak to him. Up first, Kiana James was upset by Kalani Jordan thanks to Perez. Perez gloated later about costing James a shot. Ava announced 2 last chance qualifiers for next week. Brawl broke out later with Perez and James at each other's throats. So, again, couple of things. Kalani Jordan getting a big victory. And also, Ava has now become, I guess, Shawn Michaels'
de facto management.
Woman.
Yeah. Interesting to see where her and Joe Gacy kind of splintered off. Yeah, did Paul tell her, screw the cult wrestling stuff and get into management? Like, what happened? What was that conversation about? But hey, whatever it did, she convinced Shawn, which is a whole nother thing if you know the old school rumors about Shawn and her father. But it is what it is. I don't know. We'll see how this works out.
He's trying to get in his good books. He's just
finally. Like all these years, I've been trying to apologize. This is the way I do it. I don't know, but this is again very interesting stuff. And it kind of came out of nowhere. I wish they kind of had a formal announcement, or she could at least did like Sonya Deville started to do, and just pop up in a blazer, something, so we understand that she's authority. But again, it was a interesting way. And again, we've been getting a lot of these locker room shots, and I just love that. Just giving everyone some type of TV time in some type of way. I think one girl, Easy, I guess that's Easy. Yeah, I had no clue who the hell that was who pulled Roxanne's hair at some point, but that's my point. Like, it's just the randomness. It's just like, oh, okay. She's been supporting Kiana a lot, and I think we'll talk. I think they did something later, but yeah, but it's just, again, nice segment here to establish things. Also keep Kiana and Roxy's feud going, but at the same time, you give Kaylani an opportunity, put her in this spotlight. I'm hearing that WWE really likes her improvement and what she's been able to do, in such a short time. So, yeah, this is thumbs up for me, man.
I think the problem is sometimes when NXT you talk about, it's like the NXT women's making machine is like an overdrive, and they're just going to be like all packed into locker rooms soon, not be able to get out. You go,
right?
Now there's 100 of them. We don't need that many.
It's getting more and more crowded every week, man. Have you noticed? Like it's just, it's been interesting to see.
Speaking of the Iron Survivor, we've got another Iron Survivor qualifier. Bron Breakker beat Eddie Thorpe. Eddie, you made a mistake. Tape ribs, man. I mean, that's changed over years. Obviously, with like the new tape now, like we have. But you're never going to win that fight. And again, Monty, how the fuck is Bron Breakker still in NXT? Like, didn't he finish his run like 2 years ago?
Like he was ready last year. Like, yeah, exactly. He was ready to leave. Matter of fact, you make the case that he could have been called up when Dolph beat him the first time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and he's been released 6 months.
Right, he's been gone. Exactly. It's insane when you think about how long he's been here. But you know what? I don't mind it because we do get to see this version of him, and I do think this version of him has been superior, much like his uncle. A much better babyface. I mean, much better heel than babyface so far in his young career. So I don't have too much of a problem with it. But yeah, I think he's been ready for a while now. So I can't wait to see when they finally decide to pull the trigger there.
Yeah, they went, right, you got to do like a year as a face and a year as a heel, just to prove that you can. You know, like acting. Right. But again, they don't do it with every wrestler because then Dragon Lee's there for like
Dragon Lee, cup of coffee.
Bron's like, what the fucking hell? Must be a better spear. Speaking of returning superstars, though, Nikita Lyons was in the crowd, highlighting a recovery training video posted on Instagram. Andre Chase addressed the investigation on Chase U with the gambling and misuse of college funds. The professor admitted all accusations were true, and he's working to get the university out of debt. Now, Monty, what the fuck has he got in debt for? It's not like he's travelling from show to show. I'm a bit confused here. Like, and again, it seems that their headquarters is inside Full Sail anyway. It's not like it's a big deal.
Right. Like, who does he have? What fun? Like, exactly. What does he have to upkeep? What does he have to pay for on a weekly day or whatever it is, daily basis? I guess. I know we're acting like this is an actual university or institution, but like you said, they don't have their own building. They don't have. I get the merch. I don't know. It's just funny. He says using college funds and doing all of this type of stuff. And I'm just trying for what? What are you gambling on? For what reason are you gambling? Like what is it? Like, it's so random. And I honestly believe it's just one of those things because the family exists. Because like you have someone always has the mob, so to speak, some money. So that's the only way it can make sense if the family is there. If you tell me the family no longer exists, then tell me what the hell. Why? What is he doing? I still don't know why. So it's very, very weird.
I'm glad it's not just me. But speaking of weird,
I'm confused too.
No, good. Have you seen this strange men in white face paint in the background in recent weeks as well? Yeah.
Yes, I have seen it, and I think it's funny that you mentioned Tien Shaw earlier.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not saying that that's what's going on, but if you notice, I think Dante Chen was being recruited by a guy in the face thing and all of that. And so it really, really interesting. I don't know what's going on, but they've been doing a lot. Triple H and Shawn, I guess, really love the background storytelling. Because can you tell me what the hell Nikki Cross has been doing for the last 8 weeks? Subtly in the darkness in the background, just staring, creeping the hell out of me.
I literally had a friend walk in of me watching a match with Nikki Cross. I think it was a Battle Royal. And they went, what's up with her? And I was like, fucking fine.
I have no... Right? I don't know what the hell's going on.
I like it, but I don't know what it is. Anyway, NXT Anonymous showed a video of King stalking Trick just before he got attacked. After watching the footage, Mello and Trick talked about making King pay. See, there's still a chance for them. NXT caught footage of Fraser and Dragunov arguing backstage in reaction to Corbin's video. Why would you do that, Nathan? Come on, I know you're Seth's mate, but this is Ilya Dragunov.
He's such an idiot.
He really is. Leading to a match where Dragunov fucking annihilated Nathan Fraser. Like, he had him done, and then 3 H-bombs. And this could be booed by any other wrestler apart from Ilya Dragunov. Do you know what I mean? Like,
they're like, one more time. I'm like, you want to see him do that again? And then, like I said, like, what are you supposed to do? A man mount you like that, and there's nothing you can do about it after the match. It's just like, oh my God. Like, what is wrong with him? Like, that's what I love getting. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I think the most beautiful thing about Dragunov is you love him. Like, people like him. And you look at him sometimes and you have to ask yourself, what the hell is wrong with him? And you don't get that from baby faces. You don't get that from baby faces. Like, you're supposed to be relatable to baby faces usually. But he's an absolute monster in the ring. And like you said, this is someone who's supposed to be his friend.
I don't know if he's got more vicious. I don't. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't think it was possible.
Right.
What we've seen. And he has. Fuck me. Corbin distracted him on a Titantron. We got a promo from Joe Gacy, who was under the ring. Nice.
Why?
That gimmick's going to work.
Don't ask why. That's what I've learned about certain segments. Because if you ask why, you'll be beating yourself up for an hour.
Well, we get Ariana Grace versus Carmen Petrovic. Joe Gacy ran off with the ring bell early in the match. He reappeared to ring it after Ariana Grace poked Petrovic and planted her forward fireman's carry slam.
She used wasteland.
Well, one thing I loved about it is Vic, saying, "What do you know about kind of anything with?"
pageants.
Like, by the way, I was just married to a Miss America.
Right? Come on now, Charmel. Come on, man. You know who you're talking to? But yeah,
I know, yeah. That
was great.
Go back to your sweets, Vic.
Right.
Lexis King versus Brooks Jensen. Kamala Hayes arrives to get revenge. Distraction accidentally helped King get the combination for the win. Monty, I'm going to say one of my favourite words. They are in cahoots. All right? I'm going to say this now. They've got to be. It's just too much going on.
I'm looking for the connection, though. You know what I mean? Like, that's the only problem I'm having. I'm with you, though. It definitely seems it's just too convenient. It's just too convenient. But, like, what is the connection? What's the bond?
They both like hot chocolate. That's do it. I'm trying to think if they ever wrestled in the same place before. Anyway, backstage, Fallon Henley warned Lyra Valkyria she would win the last chance qualifier, an Iron Survivor challenge. Tatum Paxley arrived. Simney admired the Valkyrie. Nice. Number one contendership then. Wesley versus Johnny Gargano versus Bronson Reed versus Cameron Grimes. Can I just say, Cameron Grimes, I forgot he was a North American champion. That's how bad he's going to be in the past couple of years. Bronson Reed, it's great. He looks fantastic coming back. And, of course, Johnny Gargano, the 105th match for Johnny on NXT.
Oh, my goodness.
The most in history. And what's even crazier, Monty, I've reviewed them all. Which
my gosh, right? That's insane.
Dirty Dom joined commentary. Of course, Gargano got the welcome back chant. He was the crowd favourite. Grimes got caught with a cardiac kick to earn the win. But what a fucking match this was, and what a showcase for not only Wesley but the other guys, because Bronson looked like he was going to win it, but Ivar got involved as well, and we've got that storyline as well.
Right. Again, another thing to kind of talk about what I was mentioning earlier about feeling like a third brand, another situation where because kind of like I think Rhea had a situation with Raquel, you know what I mean? Where we bring in Raw, or bring in main roster, or the former main roster, bringing Raw and SmackDown situations to NXT and kind of, again, giving them that feel that anything can happen, anyone can show up. And, I thought that was expertly done, and I'm with you. The match was just great. The match was just the match kind of gave me like a testament to just how good the North American title has been for a long time. You know what I mean? Like maybe besides Melo, like that's probably the only person you could say was missing. And of course, the people who can't, the people who are missing who were available. But that title has such an awesome lineage and just so many great. Everyone who's touched it would have, was pretty much a really good wrestler. And then I enjoy Leon Ruff, but Leon might be the only person that you may not want to give credit to. But honestly, that title, this match kind of just highlighted to me just how great that title picture has been actually for a while, because they showed highlights throughout the night, and it kind of dredged up from memories from me because we reviewed that Bronson Reed cage match with Gargano. We reviewed pretty much that entire pandemic, the way North American title run for Gargano. We reviewed Cameron Grimes finally getting over the mountain for his father, and of course we was here for the greatest run ever with Wesley, pretty much, so it's kind of awesome to, like you mentioned with Gargano, you reviewed every match, but it's also kind of awesome to see the fact that me and you have kind of been here to watch all of these guys, even if it hasn't been great for Grimes pretty much since those NXT days. Yeah, man, this was really, really good. And I honestly didn't expect anything else. But I will say this, too. This also highlights to me just how different it is when Gargano is in NXT. He feels like an entirely different guy. And some of that has to do with main roster booking, but some of that is just gonna always be special whenever he show up in at Full Sail or in NXT.
Yeah, it's literally he's Clark Kent on Raw and then Superman as soon as he walks through that curtain. And like you said, sometimes it's nice to look back and reflect on, just like you said, even a North American run. You talk about that and all the memories that we have. Like you said, even with like Damien Priest and Johnny Gargano as well.
Yeah.
In those types of matches. Like I said, it has been a pleasure with the North American title. Even going back to Adam Cole winning it, and of course Keith Lee, you unifying, and everything kind of went along there as well. And even Dominic's fun. Like I said with Dom this year, he has been, like we talk about, and I'm sure
much
we'll
improved.
talk about him more. Yeah, like we talk about maybe one of the most improved. So
again, as a talker too, he wasn't confident at all a few years ago. But did you hear him in commentary? Just like how every time they would pose a scenario for him, he would have something clever to say, or like I beat that guy, or when Booker T said what, or when Vic tried to say what about a Bronson Reed or these other guys with it, he's like, oh no, they don't get a title shot. Only Wesley. I love how he said, like, oh no, that's not a part of the deal. I get the pick. I run WWE.
Well,
I loved it.
Speaking of commentary as well, I've got to mention Piper Niven on commentary is probably my favourite at this moment in time on Raw.
Yeah, that was great.
Honestly, Niven's just fantastic. Anyway, final NXT, December 5th, we start with the Iron Survivor qualifier. I've got to admit, if you've gone through that, you're going to get a second chance, so it doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah, right.
I'm sorry, but doesn't that take away... anyway, let's forget it.
Yeah, ignore it.
Roxanne Perez, Kiana James, Thea Hale, and Fallon Henry. The Prodigy and James fell off the barricade through the announce table. That was lucky. Leaving Henley to pull off one of the biggest wins of her career, laying out the Chase U student with a running kick. We talked about...
Is Thea Hale in that spot with Gigi? I just thought about that. Is she in that spot too? Because, man, now she's losing. So, it's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know what's going on. Live Valkyria was shown watching the match with Tatum Paxley staring through the window. Remember her again? You go like,
right.
All these names.
Oh, and she's completely different now. Like, what the hell is this stalker type of creepy thing she has going on?
I'll get onto that in a
second. And they kind of looked alike, by the way.
Yeah,
in this segment.
I get confused. I'm not saying all women look similar, and especially the names like Tatum Paxley, Kiana James, they're all very near enough, very similar.
Right.
Kenny Kincaid interviewed the Valkyrie afterwards. Lola Vice and Electra Lopez warned the champion to watch her back. Looks like they got over Mackenzie Mitchell quickly. Paxley challenged Vice to a match Izzy Dame checked on James in the training room before Perez attacked
There you
James
go.
again. These are just fucking names. Again, I don't know.
Right.
Ava told the two women they would fight at Deadline. Up next, though, sad voice, sorry.
Where did she
Wesley-
come from, by the way?
I don't know. I don't know where they're coming from. Like I said, the machine is just working overdrive. Like, here comes Lola. Here comes Ivana. Here comes Ariana. Here comes Amanda. Here comes Amy. Wesley did come out with a crutch to announce he will be out indefinitely with back injury. Dirty Dom mocked him until Rey Mysterio told his son he would face Dragon Lee at Deadline.
I got serious deja vu with that one, by the way.
Yeah, it's like,
I'm going to be there to manage him with Dragon Lee. I'm like, great. I swear, is this the same vignette from a few months ago?
Yeah,
Right.
We've seen this, haven't we? Right, good. Because I've always thought it is a shame. Wesley looks like back injury, 8 to 10 months
goodness.
out. Horrible, especially after he took that time off recently as well. And Dragon Lee taking his place. Don't get me wrong. Dragon Lee is instead of vacant, it's going to be Dragon Lee. You know,
Right. Oh my goodness, they're working him, man. They found out he was reliable, and it's just like, yeah, throw him in there with everyone all the time. It's like, yeah, no. I obviously I love Dragon Lee, and I think this really sucks because I think what they were doing with Wesley, I don't necessarily know if this was going to be the time to get the belt off Dom, but like you said, for Wesley to be gone and then to come back and then get an injury like that where he's talking about he could barely feel his legs, and you can just kind of tell that this is like, you can look at him and see that he was hurt, and it's just really tough when you think about just how impressive his run with the North American title and just how great he has been in general. Even as a tag team specialist, and then also once he was on his own. So, like you said, I just send well wishes to him, and the fact that it could be 8 to 10, 8 to 12 months until we see him again. And we were talking about this show. Wrestling is going to be completely different in a year from now. So it's like, what do you do? You know what I'm saying? Does he, when he returns, like, you know what I'm saying? What is NXT? What is WWE in general going to look like in 8 to 10 months? You know what I'm saying? Like, it could be completely different. I don't know if I was betting on Dominic still having the belt a year from now. You know what I mean? But you never know what happens. But all I can do is send him the best wishes, and I hope, I cannot wait to see what he does. And I know it's going to be a long road back, but I feel like if anybody could come back and be just as good, if not 10 times better, it can be someone like Wesley, because he's one of the best, man. He's a pro, and I just wish him the best on the road to recovery.
Yeah, without doubt. And you mentioned, talk about North American title reign compared to all the others that we've seen, and just up there as the best. And also, let's hope now when he does come back, stronger, fitter, better than ever, if he is going to challenge for the NXT title. I mean, to have that, he's a guy who is he's proved me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I've been a fan of Wesley, but even talk about like MSK, and you're thinking like, oh well, its tag team probably won't get that far. Won Dusty Classic, won the tag team titles. Oh, as a single star, he'd probably get lost in the shuffle, become the greatest North American champion of all time. So what's stopping him from coming back and winning NXT? Because he's got that connection, especially with the NXT crowd, like you talk about. So it's a sad time. But again, you talk about changes. We've got the male breakout tournament coming up. Right. Riley Osborne, Keanu Carter, Tavion Heights, Dion Lennox, Luca Crucifino, Miles Bourne, Trey Bearhill, and Obafemi. It could be a completely different world. Obafemi, fuck me, he looks scary.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Oh my God, man. Right now, that's him. He's my early pick, to be honest. Right now, I don't know, because a lot of these faces, a couple of them I'm new, but I've heard of Bourne before. Yeah. So, he's another guy that I was thinking about. But Oba, man, like, I 100% agree. Oh my God.
Well, no, like Trey Bearhill is like, don't team him with Eddie Thorpe. Do you know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, please don't. Please don't. It's too similar, right?
Do you know what I mean? Like, I can see a couple
please
here.
Don't.
Just don't do it. Don't do it. Lola Vice beat Tatum Paxley. Afterwards, Vice seemed very focused on a breakout contract, possibly considered cashing it in. But Tatum, she could join Fire and Dawn if they're still a thing in the
Oh my
multiverse.
goodness!
Like Tatum is auditioning for that, isn't she?
Oh my God, the paleness and the way she was moving is just like, oh my goodness. Like, yeah, I agree. I don't know if that's, she seemed like she's going for like a vampire thing almost too, but I don't know. And it's funny though. This is what I mean about like building a women's division. It's not so much as making them all go out there and wrestle classics or whatever. It's establishing characters and giving them something distinct. We was talking about this months ago on she's a perfect example because she was around. She was the one that Ivy Nile was training and trying to be her partner, and it just that didn't work out. And if you go back to those days, she just was pretty generic. But you give her something like this, and now it's like, oh, okay, this is holding my attention. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what I'm really starting to see. Same thing with the Lash Legends and all of that, giving them a character and giving them something, Ariana, giving them something to do that. It doesn't necessarily have to be wrestling, but it gives you an impression of what they're all about. And I think that's what I'm starting to see from some of these newer faces that haven't had the chance to get the same television time as a Tiffany or a Roxy. So it's good to see that kind of spread down. Because I remember when Tiffany was the champion, me and you were talking about it like, man, it just seems like they only care about Tiffany, Rocky, a couple of girls. But, now as we're going into the new year, they seeming to be spreading that attention and that love of giving them opportunities to become, different characters.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. We get Alpha Academy versus Metaphor. Joe Gacy appeared behind the commentators, telling Vic Joseph how much the crowd loved his work. Legend, Lash, that is, body slammed Otis. Shocking, not only live crowd.
Impressive, man.
I mean, even, said, Otis helped. Like, to do that. And Lash is bigger than everybody in that match as well. It just, again, it's just like...
Her legs didn't buckle either. Like, her legs didn't buckle. Like, oh, my goodness. I'm with you. The athleticism, the strength, the talent, and you're really starting to see. I think I'm kind of starting to see that grind. I know I remember me and you joked about this when they mentioned Bianca kind of had a hand in training her, and I was like, we both kind of asked where did they have? But I think you can kind of see a basis of at least the athleticism is something that her and Bianca definitely have in common. Like you mentioned, we already know she towers with her height. But to now starting to put the pieces together as a character, use her strength, use her size. Like, she has the potential that she can do something special too. But like you said, it's a big surprise when you see something like that. And it went viral. I love the attention it got too. A lot of people was impressed. And I mean, honestly, if you can do something like that, help or not, it was very, very impressive in the scheme of that match. Honestly, it was so good. I didn't until you watched the match. You almost didn't realize Metaphor lost.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, Dahl looked like he was going to hit the Nova Roller, but was forced to tap out. Gallus were confronted by Hank and Tank, and Hank now, Monty, is my new favourite wrestler because he mentioned the mighty Glasgow Rangers, which are the best team not only in Scotland but the world. You can tell by my accent. Byron Saxon hosted the Women's Iron Survivor Challenge Summit. He wanted his things to say civil. He's like Adam Pearce. He just lost his shit. He doesn't like this. Like, calm down, Byron. Fallon Henry took an early shot at Tiffany Stratton, and a brawl broke out between all four women that destroyed the set. Henley tried to fire a promo, but going, yeehaw. Yeah, that's going to work.
Bitch.
Yeehaw, bitch. You'll see that on a T-shirt. Before Nathan Fraser in action
Definitely
to get rolling, the Women of the Iron Survivor Challenge came back and ended a no contest. Blair Davenport escaped the fray, but Nikita Lyons returned today at the women who injured her. That'd be good if Blair wasn't booked for a match.
Oh my goodness! Like you couldn't do this either. You couldn't do this during the show or come on, man! Like. She was definitely one of the people I was thinking about. Like, yeah, she might be a favorite, because I wouldn't mind seeing her and Lyra go at it. And then you get this, and it's like, but we've been talking about this for months. Blair had receipts coming, man.
Yeah, to be fair, yeah.
So, but yeah, the timing of it was definitely weird.
Andre Chase announced that Chase U was under academic probation. Yeah, all right.
Okay.
Okay. Iron Survivor qualifier: Kamala Hayes versus Tyler Bate versus Eddie Thorpe versus Joe Coffey. Coffey sidelined Eddie Thorpe by further hurting the injured ribs against the steel stairs. What have I told
This
you?
entire review was a big middle finger to Eddie Thorpe, by the way. He was tortured in these 5 episodes.
The man with the bad ribs. He did not get the job done. However, it was Tyler Bate who got the final shot, knocking out Joe Coffey with a Tyler driver to win. I mean, I can't believe it. Tyler Bate get the victory, and then NXT Anonymous showed footage of Mello following Trick right before the attack. Trick asked questions from his friend and got nothing. So first off, Tyler Bate getting his opportunity, and second off, maybe it wasn't Lexis King.
Right. Something happened, man. Is this how we're gonna get it unveiled? NXT Anonymous is gonna finally show us the full footage one day. Like, how long are we gonna put this off? Because they keep showing us pieces. Like, even NXT Anonymous is teasing us at this point. But yeah, still, again, one of the most interesting things is just how they're gonna play this. Like I told you, the way things are looking is going. I just don't know. And mostly because I told you whether Lexis King did it or not. Mello losing that title shot, and then you look at the way the cards have fallen in this particular, Iron Survivor challenge. Is just like, oh man, Mello can try to play it off, but the way his body language, the stories he's been telling, with the way he's been looking, jealousy is underneath that confident face or the confident act that he's been trying to give off. And I don't know, man. This is gonna come to a head at some point. And I can't wait to see how it finally plays out. But it's still interesting because, again, we still have to see how is this going to work out with the Lexis King involvement. Was it both of them? What happened in this situation? And then the fact that they still got me this invested, though, in it this many weeks. Because, sometimes when you prolong a mystery, sometimes you can lose interest. So, right, exactly. Chase you, exactly. Because we've been knowing that we've known, and they did a little bit too much foreshadowing in that one. At least in this one, it hasn't been a lot of foreshadowing, but we've known a lot of details before he finally admitted. So it's just like we still don't know everything. So it's just, like I said, you don't want to do too long, because then we'll start feeling like the Chase U story. So eventually this will come to a head, but I'm definitely still interested in what they're going to do next in that storyline. But, man, it's looking hot and lot. Man, Mello and Trick Gang, man, my favorite. Just like I know, this has been my favorite thing in NXT for a while. So the fact that it feels like this is their relationship is about to culminate. And I could be wrong, but it just feels that way. I can't wait to see how this thing plays out.
Right now. And to finish us off, Baron Corbin taunted Ilya Dragunov, trying to get him to snap. Instead, the Mad Dragon hugged him and smiled. I mean, Corbin's acting was on point.
That is terrifying.
His face dropped with a crazy hug from Dragunov. And this is the thing, because, like we talked about, I've mentioned before, don't let Ilya talk too much. But when he's like that, we all think he's crazy. I don't know. And that hug is just like, it's so unsettling. I can't believe it.
Yes. Right. It was the most uncomfortable, but just like you said, just... again, like I said, terrifying. And the look on his face, the almost hysterical. Like, that's what I'm saying. If it's one thing I know, like I said, I was having a tough time predicting Deadline. And it's still some matches out. It's still a match I'm not sure about, I know, right now, that I'm going to have to just make a decision on this show. But, man, if it's one thing I know, Corbin is going to get beat bad. That's all I know. I don't know if he's going to, I'm not saying it's going to be dominant, but in the end, we're going to look at some of the stuff that Dragunov do to him and be like, wow. Because I just feel like that's the type of, like you said, that's the monster. Like, and then to say the quote he gave him, no one can slay the dragon but the dragon himself. And it's just like, that is terrifying.
It really is. No, he is just, honestly, I don't know. I don't think I've seen a man like it, The show did end low with the men's Iron Survivor Challenge competitors brawling back to the ring. Tyler Bate was left as the last man standing. Oh, bollocks.
Wow. Well, check him off the list, huh?
So before we get to deadline predictions, what are your thoughts on this update? Because this literally has been the build to Deadline.
And that's exactly the way I would slice it. It was very, very smart. I wouldn't say that this was about trying to have the best matches, even though it was a couple of really good matches, like a couple of the Heritage Cup, and then you have it was a couple of really good matches like the Heritage Cup, and then you have a couple of these main events like the Fatal Four Ways, and just again they've done a really good job of just building everything. It wasn't really trying to go out there and have bangers, to borrow Sheamus' term at the moment, but it was about setting up Deadline, making Deadline feel as big or as important as you possibly can with the storylines that they have in place, and I think they did an excellent job at that.
Without a doubt. So, like we said, we have got the last predictions, well, WWE predictions of the year where we do NXT. Of course, the girls will send them to us. You know what I'm trying to say, Monty. Use English. I start how I finish, you know. So
okay.
let's not forget about that. So we're going to do predictions, and we'll start, because there's 7 matches on here. So, again, for me, it's a much bigger card than usual takeover.
Yeah.
But we are going to have a kickoff match, which again doesn't mean kickoff will be pointless this time. It's going to be Axiom versus Nathan Fraser. We never got it on the main show. Monty, which way is this going to go?
I'm just going to go with my gut here. It's going to be a good one again because we know what these guys are capable of. But Axiom, unfortunately, seems to be the guy who does not ever get the win in this situation. So unless they're going to pull a fast one on me, I think Nathan Fraser is going to be the one to win this one. I think he needs to kind of save face afterwards. He needs to get something after that just brutal beat down that he took from the champ. So I think to give him some heat back, and Axiom at this point is going to always give you all he has. I don't think he loses much from losing again, but unless they want to pull up like they did with Dijak a couple weeks back, I think Fraser's a safe bet.
Yeah, no, I've got to agree with it. I think Nathan Fraser for the prediction. Next match, and we're going to start big now. Carmella Hayes versus Lexis King. Because I struggle with this matchup. This
Me
is
too.
what I struggled with, because I was thinking which way they're going to go with it. And in the end, I have made my decision. And I think shenanigans and all that lot, but I think Lexis King is going to win.
Wow.
No, Monty.
Oh man, that's a tough one. It's like you said, it's really, really tough. You can make a case either way, but believe it or not, I'm going to side with you and say that Melo loses here. I think that you're 100% right that this might be just a whole bunch of mess. I'm not sure. It kind of depends on where it's booked too, but it just feels like something's gonna happen here, and it won't be the just straight up match that we would usually expect. And I think that bodes well for Lexis King in this scenario. I rarely ever pick against Melo, so if I get burned here, it is what it is. It really is what it is. But it's really tough. I feel like this will help continue the descent into like his jealousy and madness towards Trick. And I feel like another loss could just that may be the thing to set him over the edge. I don't know, but I think this will be it. I think Lexis King will actually find a way to be the one to get the victor.
Yeah, I'll tell you something. If we go the same on predictions, I'm going to go back and change this one just to spite you. All right? But we're still a long way to go. Yeah, I know. Steel cage match. Where the fuck did that come from? Remember, the steel cage is booked after a long rivalry. What? It is Roxanne Perez versus Kiana James. James for probably the best entrance in NXT. Doesn't deserve it. Which way do you think it's going to
go? Part of me is thinking that maybe we could get a surprise here with James winning because of what happened in that Weapons Wild situation. But honestly, I think I picked against Melo which is hard. I can't pick against Roxy too in the same show for James. But hey, if it could go that way, but I think Roxy needs this, especially with all of how giving she was for these Iron Survivors. Letting Last Legend win, losing this Fatal 4-Way because of Kiana James. Also, I think I think Roxanne will prevail in the end.
Yeah, I mean the thing is though, you just mentioned it, like Melo, Perez guaranteed points in predictions.
Usually, right?
Much like Dominic Mysterio recently as well. Like it's talking about going against Dragon Lee, NXT North America title. I see Dom winning it. Again, I thought Trick was going to be the man. Then I thought Wesley was going to be the man. But I don't know who it's going to be. But Dominic is not. Is still going to be champion coming out of this.
Yeah, I think so too. Especially with the Dragon Lee situation. Could this be the shock finish, the shock change, or something? I don't know. I'm thinking that because Sean, or the way they seem to book NXT usually, but this is a bigger card, so I don't know. Maybe I should just go with my brain. But usually, it's always something that that's surprising. That's not what you would normally expect. But yeah, I think you're 100% right. Dom is keeping the belt. I don't think this is where he loses it. And maybe again, stand and deliver season. Maybe I have a different tune, but I think honestly they feel like Dragon Lee is untouchable, and you can always explain away a Dominic victory because we know it's probably going to be underhanded.
Without doubt. So the Iron Survivor ones again difficult to pick. So I think NXT Championship match next. Ilya Dragunov versus Baron Corbin. Like to talk about. So this is just going to be Corbin getting smashed because he's got to pay the piper.
Yeah, 100%, man. I think that's exactly what's gonna happen. Dragunov is gonna win. He mentioned this man's family, and if matter of fact, those are one of the only details I know. I know he's very, very passionate about what he does in the ring. Very, emotional and just a powder keg in the ring and all of that. And his destiny was to become champion, and I know he loves his son and family. So that was the wrong turn, Corbin, and he's going to pay for it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, unless his wife comes out and costs him the match against Baron,
I want you home more.
I can't see it happening. So, yeah, Ilya Dragunov there for me as well. So we'll do... The women's is harder to pick than the men's, isn't it? I think that'd be fair to say.
True.
So we go men's next. Iron Survivor Challenge, Bron Breakker, Dijak, Trick Williams, Josh Briggs, Tyler, Bate. I don't know if it... Well, I'll go. I don't mind. This is tough. But
yeah,
I can only... With the story they're trying to play at the moment in time, I can see Dijak... No, of course I can't. Trick Williams for me.
Yeah.
Trick, if Dijak wins, we riot. But no, Trick, I think the story... Like you said, even with Melo losing early in the night to Trick winning later on, and then when he gets that opportunity to have that final split, because I think you are right, Monty, it is going to... The Anonymous has got the clip, haven't they? So we're going to see that at some point as well as we head towards the next NXT special event.
100%. The only way Trick, in my opinion, probably don't win this is if Melo was to get involved, and I think that was my thing. I'm like, if they book it and Lexis King and Melo is earlier than this, maybe maybe he could screw him out tonight. But I don't know. I honestly would save the initial. I think I would save the real turn. I wouldn't do it here. Bron Breakker is really the only other guy I'm entertaining here, and I don't know if they would want to go there. So yeah, I think Trick Williams is going to win this one. So yeah, I can't disagree.
I'm about to say, unless Bron wins and then goes on another year reign, and we just never called it.
Right. Oh my goodness. NXT for another year until Wes Lee comes and dethrones him a year later.
Long-term storytelling.
Oh my goodness.
So we'll finish, and again, I think this has been the main point, this update as well, speaking about the women's division and the development that has happened there. None more so than the 5 Women Iron Survivor Challenge. Tiffany Stratton, Blair Davenport, Lash Legend, Kalana Jordan, and Fallon Henley. And I would even say to you, each of them have got an argument to get a victory here. Because even Jordan, like we talk about, NXT always has a surprise. So anything can happen.
100% agree. You know, I think your as soon as you look at it, your initial, especially the way things been going this year, your initial mind state, Tiffany Stratton, just to give her another accomplishment or whatever, and maybe they can do the Lyra thing. But honestly, I don't know if that's where I want to go right now. It's funny that you mentioned that with Kaylani Jordan. She was another name that I was definitely entertaining in this scenario. And I told you earlier that Blair was probably my favorite initially until we had the Nikita Lyons involvement. So it's just, this is really, really hard. This is the one I'm talking about having to make the decision here. So when I don't know, I play it safe. I think that this is going to be another accomplishment for Tiffany Stratton, and she's going to get the title shot. Whether she wins it or not, I don't know. But I think Tiffany Stratton is going to be the Iron Survivor, and they'll give her the achievement. And then we have a face in Trick Williams and a bad, woman in this situation, and to win the women's Iron Survivor.
Yeah, I'm along those lines, to be fair, Tiffany Stratton. But I don't know whether to change, because I did say if we do agree, I would change the Melo prediction.
Yeah, I'll go with Melo if you want me to. I will switch to Melo.
No. I don't want any excuses. All right.
Okay. Fair.
That's fair. No, do you know what then? Tiffany, I'm gonna go, and I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm gonna go Lash Legend.
Hey, she's the wild card, man. Oh God! You know, hey,
he's throwing it away.
She's a heel. She's a
heel. Yeah, fuck it, Nash. If Blair Davenport wins, I'm gonna be furious.
I'm gonna be mad, like Sean threw the curveball because Blair makes so much sense, right? You know.
Yeah. But no, I'll go Lash. Fuck it, it's all fun and games. It's all fun and games.
Yeah, man.
Lash Legend. So there you go. That's it. But again, Deadline has, I'll say a lot to live up to because, like I said, the wrestling's been great. But I mean, the expectation heading into Deadline tonight, Monty. Of course, we'll be back reviewing it tomorrow. But we always kind of want a classic matchup. We always want a memorable moment. What do you hope for Deadline as we are just hours away?
Yeah, I think that I'm with you. I think the Survivor matches definitely have a chance to maybe give us the moment for someone, or at least a moment in someone's career that we'll never forget, like a la Trick Williams. I think if it's done right and he, wins it, like maybe at the end with the clock on the line, similar to how Grayson Waller won it, but just, his running knee is kind of perfect for that, you know what I mean? And he can kind of get a victory. That'll be something memorable. And I think the thing is about the Matt Classic, who do we think is going to get the time to do that in this situation? Could Dragunov and Corbin surprise us and we get a classic? We like Classic and Corbin usually don't go together, but we know what Dragunov is capable of. So could they do something to that, retrospect? What about Dragon Lee and Dom? We will see, because, they were cooking on Raw. So maybe they could kind of, get, muster up a little bit of that for NXT, and that could be the wrestling Matt Classic that we love in these takeover situations. You never can doubt a Melo match, but I think that one's going to be more story based. So I'm just looking for either the next step or the nice wrap up of certain stories, and I'm looking forward to just an exciting night and maybe a couple surprises, maybe something that me or neither one of us could even predict taking place. I'm hearing rumors that a Chicago-made person may pop up. So
if that's the case, that would be. But again, there was something on NXT where Byron Saxton was on the stand, where you could. Again, I'm not down with the kids, but you can take the picture. What's it called? You know that. Well, they did it for all Bray Wyatt stuff as well. Yeah, little. Anyway, kids, I'm lost. This story. You know the thing where you take a picture with it and it scans it and then you go and it shows you something secret.
The QR code?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, see
okay. Oh,
I'm down with the kids.
Yeah, you did sound elderly.
Fucking hell. You know I've been doing this for years. We didn't have QR codes when I started, lad. Anyway, so I did do that. Cora Jade's voice apparently is heard. So again, what will be will be. So we'll see what happens. That's it. I don't think there's anything else, Monty. I think we've wrapped up quite well.
Yeah, I think so. I think we did a good job here. And tomorrow, no matter what happens, whether I'm just disgusted because nothing I said happened, or whether I'm on top of the world because I got this one right and I got a bonus point, another bonus point because I got it perfect. And that's what I'm hoping for. But hey, this one's tough. It's funny that this is the end of the year. I really wonder is someone listening? Do they understand that the stakes are getting higher in our prediction leagues and stuff like that? Because this is a tough card to predict, tougher than Halloween Havoc and stuff. A couple of the other cards,
Well, like you said, we should say before we go, bonus leagues that we've got. Monty, you're on 16 points.
Yeah, man, it's 15. Tight.
Gina on 14. So if Gina's got different from us, ends up perfect score.
She gets perfect. Oh my goodness!
With you, and she's
capable.
Yeah, exactly.
She's very capable.
She has.
That's why I'm worried, man.
Well, have a good night tonight, Monty. It sounds like you are. We both are. Watching Dead when I go, no, Lash Legend. But who knows? That's it. Don't forget, we're across all
Fallon
social
screws
media.
Tiffany, and I just throw my phone across the room or something.
We're at Twitter at the WNR Podcast. I'm at the WNR JI. You can find the entire WNR team on the Twitter banner. Monty, do you want to plug your stuff, man?
Yeah, at my Monty Pod, like you said, on Twitter, and you can go to follow my link. You can type in Mind of Monty on YouTube. You can subscribe, set yourself up because I'm coming back in a major way next year with the Mind of Monty podcast. It will be returning. We're gonna try some new things. Try to have a little bit of fun with it. Talk a lot about real life, a little bit about wrestling too. We're gonna try to switch things up and just freshen up the process for me and myself and my lovely wife / co-host. And we will be talking about our family because we do have my beautiful 6-month-old daughter now. So things are getting a little bit easier, but she's also starting to move around more. So that's exciting and also terrifying at the same time.
Don't leave any doors open. Yeah.
Right. I always got to keep an eye on that. But yeah, man, please check me out at My Months Pod and keep up with me there.
Yeah, and again, I can actually say this, Monty, that to change what show you're doing does work sometimes. I'm not going to lie.
Right.
Exactly.
WNR
also on Facebook and Instagram, across all Google platforms. Send us an email at WNRpodcast@gmail.com. YouTube and podcast where we latest clips and podcasts at the same time on YouTube to do SoundCloud on your phone. That was Excalibur level then. Also Spotify and iTunes where you can download, subscribe, rate and review there. So that is it. Our next episode is tomorrow. We are back for NXT Deadline. But until then, I have been James Rowlands and was joined by the mind of Monty. It is always a pleasure and never a chore, Monty.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 501 and 502. I feel special.
Yeah, we are banging them out now, guys. All these people during this year were going, well, they're not doing a lot. Yeah, you just wait.
Just wait.
Nothing like ending an episode with a threat. Well, thanks for listening, and bye.